Hello, Ian here once again, and for my informative speech, I will be doing it based on one of my favorite cartoon series, the Looney Tunes. And being a future writer and director of a funny cartoon series such as myself, I have decided to do my informative speech based on one of my favorite classic cartoon series. Let's begin. But to begin, we'll simply turn back time a ipty bitty bit per se back to the 1930s. Back when Hollywood was just starting out as a kid, the whole world fell in love with the wacky and wonderful slapstick known as comedy, a time of baggy pants, comics, and far out gags. Now, since comedy was invented, you get all kinds of slapsticks like pratfalls, pies in the face, and other funny, wacky hijinks. But then one day, in order to compete against Disney Studios' Mickey Mouse cartoon series, another studio by the name of Warner Bros. Decided to make a deal with Leon Schleichschneider to make their very own cartoon series. Joined by Rudolph Fossing and Hugh Harman, they invented the series known as Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies. When they invented the first character, Bosco the Ink Talking Kid, back in 1929. After Bosco's first cartoon made its debut, which is Sinking in the Bathtub, more Looney Tunes slicker and funny characters were added, such as Buddy, Foxy, Goopy Gear, and Beach the Cat. And as the 1930s passed by, new directors had also shown up with Leon Schuster as well as making brand new characters for the series. Directors including Tex Avery, Fred Freeling, and Bob Clement were brought in to work with the new animators in the new cartoon studio, which was now known as Termite Terrace. It was then on the premiere of I Haven't Got a Hat that Frizz Freeling had created the first ever major Looney Tunes star, Porky Pig. But as the early 1930s were drawn to a close, all flickering funnies like Bosco, Beans, and even Buddy had passed on, leaving Porky Pig as the only major Looney Tunes star in the series. However, Porky Pig didn't remain as the major star of the for long as the 1940s came. Soon enough, Tex Avery created new characters like Affy Duck, Egghead, who would soon evolve into Elmer Fudd, and the main major Looney Tunes character, who still happens to be the leader of the Looney Tunes cast today, Bugs Bunny. Soon enough, the Looney Tunes series changed from its black and white setting to a technicolor as both series, Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies, ran along with each other. But as the 1944 came, Stranger sold his interest in the cartoon studio in 1944 to Warner Brothers and went into retirement, where he died 5 years later after his recent retirement. The cartoons were then produced by Edward Selzer. And as the years passed by, more characters were soon made for the series, including my favorite characters, Wily and Roadrunner. Termite Terrace, the number one studio for making all of its Looney Tunes cartoons, had a long run, but the run would eventually have to come to an end as by the 1970s came. Termite Terrace had closed down their animation studio, thus ending the classic era of Looney Tunes. But now that you know most of the Looney Tunes history, let's take a look at who made the cartoons possible. These are the directors who made most of the Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies pictures. Here are three of them: Chuck Jones, Frizz Freeling, Robert McKibson. Chuck Jones is my all-time favorite director, of course. But besides directing cartoons, they also had story writers who helped with the stories of the cartoons, like Ted Pierce, Warren Foster, and Michael Maltese, who wrote most of the Looney Tunes biography and cartoons. And besides writing and directing, they also had voice actors who'd help them out, like June Foray, Stan Freberg, and Arthur Bryan. But the number one voice actor who helped them out the most was the man of the thousand voices, Mel Blanc. But besides writing, directing, and having voice actors, they also had musicians and a film editor to help out. One of the musicians, Carl Stalling, helped out with the music orchestrations for the Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies cartoons. Drake Brown also helped with the sound effects, and he had a big old library of them. But let's jump right back to the history of Looney Tunes cartoons. Just a Hang on. As the Looney Tunes series gained popularity, WB decided to branch out its Looney Tunes series even further. That's when they made the television series The Bugs Bunny Show to repost their cartoons again on TV after they were shown in theaters. Chuck Jones refusing also pitched in some Looney Tunes related TV specials of their own, which can be collected on Blu-ray and DVD. But even after the animation studio came to the close, Warner Bros. Decided to pitch in some movies for the Looney Tunes franchise. Chuck Jones created one, which is my all-time favorite movie, the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner movie. But aside from film and animation industries, Looney Tunes series even had a share of merchandising and illustrations, where they made books like this. This book contains all the information you need on all Looney Tunes and Mary Melodies cartoons. And so throughout the years, the Looney Tunes have made tons of audiences laugh until they cried. And as a fellow Looney Tunes fan myself, I too have enjoyed the characters' antics of the series for a long time as well. And who knows, maybe someday when I graduate, I might think about joining up with Warner Brothers and revive the classic cartoon series to the brand new generation while sticking to the classics that the Looney Tunes once did. And as a wise pig once says to end such a speech, that's all, folks.